Hey guys, welcome to the channel, and up today we're going to get back to the roots of this channel, and that is with a knife review on the Swiss Army Pioneer Plus. If that'll show, there we go. And this is the most carried knife that I own. To put it in perspective, if I leave the house without this, I have to grab a second knife, and even then it's still not matching the feature set that this has. This is one of the most extremely useful knives I've ever owned. And I own a plethora of knives, from everything new to vintage to you name it. I've spent my life looking for a knife as useful as this. It's even replaced multi-tools for me. Unlike most knife videos you see, I'm going to do not only side-by-side comparisons, but when I talk about the tools, I'm going to throw in a lot of B-roll on actually using those and how to do that, because this is so useful once you learn how to use the tool set that it has. In addition to that, I'm going to give you my tips and tricks on how I carry it, because it is a chunky knife, but I found two really good ways to do that. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the tabletop, do some comparisons, and start talking about this amazing utilitarian and practical knife. So I guess to start with, we'll do the specs, which I'm not a big specs guy because how the knife carries versus how the specs say it is are always two different things, but it's a little over 3.5 inches long, about an inch or so wide, and then almost an inch high. The weight is roughly 3 ounces. So that's your specs, but that doesn't do you a lot of good if you don't have it in hand. So let's do some comparisons next. So let's go ahead and do a few side-by-side comparisons. So a lot of people are familiar with the Cadet, if we're going to keep it in the family, most popular one. And you can see this knife is smaller in pretty much every dimension. Of course, you are getting less tools, and if we compare the blade size on the Cadet is also smaller, although very useful. And as far as blade thickness goes between the two, you can see there is a difference there as well. Now, let's compare it to something else, like a case trapper. A lot of people are familiar with at least a trapper pattern pocket knife. You can see now we're getting in the ballpark of what's very comparable. The trapper is a little longer, not by much though. As far as thickness goes, fairly comparable. Of course, this one is a little thicker, but very similar. So if you already carry one of these, this should be no problem. And I'll get into what I did to remedy making this easy to carry in a little while. But there's your case trapper in comparison. For you modern knife guys, Spyderco Paramilitary 3. I do remove the pocket clips off these though, because I hate them. And obviously, very similar as far as length goes, this being more on the trapper size than length. But thickness is where you really notice it. Then last comparison, compared to a multi-tool, because that's technically what this is. Leatherman Signal, which is a beast weight-wise compared to this. As you can see clearly and obviously, the knife is going to be a lot more compact and easy to carry than the multi-tool. Okay, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the features that this knife has and why I like it so much. So this is a limited edition version, 2024, in a special color, and you can see this thing has been carried and used a lot. Sometimes it's kind of an impromptu hammer. I don't recommend that, but it does work that way. And 4 features. We'll start with the knife blade. So this is a very usable size of blade. And it's honestly, it's perfect for what I need every single day. And if you needed to in a pinch, you could honestly clean game with this, field dress it if you had to. You can see there's some scratches, there's some tape residue and a bunch of stuff on it. And that's because I use this knife. I'm not going to clean it up just for the video. Victorinox does have a soft stainless steel, and because of that, it doesn't hold the best edge. However, it takes an edge razor sharp very, very quickly. And a lot of times, all I have to do is run this across a leather strop a couple of times every week, and it goes back to hair shaving sharp. If you let it get worse than that, then just use some stones, and it'll come right back up to a nice sharp edge. And that is the thing that I appreciate about this. While it may dull a little quicker, it is super easy to bring it back up to the edge that it needs to be, and I don't have any complaints whatsoever with whatever steel it is that they use. I think it is perfect. I think it's really easy to work with, and especially if you're new to knives, this is a good one to learn to sharpen because it's very forgiving and easy to use. So our next feature is going to be the punch, whatever you want to call it. I use this for a bunch of different things. One, yes, you can use this on leather. So like I have a belt. If I need to add a section to that, I just go ahead and use this to go through that. Works just fine for that. As far as using this on wood, it works really well. If, let's just say that you're out and about and you need to put a hole in something, like start a pilot hole, this can work to get your pilot hole started, and then you can go back in with, say, one of your screwdriver blades, put the screw on it, and then there you go. It'll drive on in just like it's supposed to without having to go get the power tool. So that works really well if you just have like 1 or 2 screws that need put into something. This works great, and it keeps you from having to go to the garage or go to the toolbox to get the tool that you need. And that's all done in part with this tool right here. Also, if you're into bushcraft and camping and things like that, you can drill through smaller sticks to make lashings and things like that, to connect things, to maybe make a table or something like that. This will work as a drill in that case as well. So there's a lot of utility to this specifically. And again, to sharpen it, it's very easy. It just has a chisel ground blade there. It's very easy to maintain and keep sharp. Really useful tool, and this gets a lot of use for me. Next up, we've got the cap lifter, flathead screwdriver, and wire stripper. So I'm not going to lie to you, the wire stripper is, yeah, it's okay. I mean, it will technically strip wire, however, not ideal for that. So this doesn't get hardly any use from me. What does get a lot of use is the bottle opener. Even when I'm drinking a drink that I can just twist the top off, I use this because it's really satisfying to use the bottle opener. And then, of course, you have your flathead screwdriver. This also works really good for opening paint cans. And with that, with opening paint cans too, you can use the cap lifter to kind of get in there and pry and use it for leverage. So it doesn't just have to be to open caps. There are other things you can use this for. And then with as thick as this is, and again, these things, if I haven't mentioned it, are built like a tank. You can do some prying with this that you wouldn't want to do on a traditional knife blade. So this, while not a dedicated pry tool, it does work as a light duty pry tool. So very, very useful. And this works on a lot of different flathead screws. But what happens if it's too big for the screw you're working with? That's where we come to our second screwdriver blade. You see how small that one is. This works great on smaller flathead screws, but that's not what it's made for. This is actually a Phillips driver, and hopefully this will come through. It's contoured. So even though it will work on the flathead ones, this is made for Phillips screws. So it works really well. The can opener works pretty good too. Obviously, any other can opener, like with the little wheel that you spin, would be better, but this does work just as intended as a can opener, and very easy, again, to maintain because it's chisel ground there. So it's a tool you can use and continue to bring back up to spec should you wear that edge down. So very, very useful. I use, honestly, the punch, this bit here, and the bottle opener more than about anything else on this tool, especially more than the blade. And that's going to be a reoccurring trend. I use the blade least than anything else on this, and that's because the other tools are just so useful. Now, what makes this the Pioneer Plus are these scissors right here. And you can see there's some crud down in them because, again, I use this. I need to clean it. But I use these scissors a lot for opening packages where I need to make a precise cut. But the big thing and the honest truth as to why I like to have scissors on a knife is clearly my hands get dried and cracked and I get hangnails like crazy. And there's nothing worse than being on a 12-hour shift with a hangnail. And I can just get in there and clip it if I need to. You can clip your fingernails with it if you need to. So this always has to, it's a must. It has to be with me. These scissors are extremely sharp. They've gotten a lot of use. I've never touched them up, and they are still extremely sharp. And they're bigger than the scissors, say, on the little Classic, which are also good scissors. But you can see they're substantially bigger, and they're bigger and nicer than scissors on pretty much any multi-tool out there. So very nice, very well done. And then that covers all the tools on this. We have gone through all of them. We've gone through the blade, we've gone through the can opener, the Phillips screwdriver, the flathead, the cap lifter, and the wire stripper, scissors, and the awl. And this tool set right here has literally got me by almost everything that I need to do, especially being around the farm or even around the home working on something. You need to remove a light switch cover, or maybe you need to put something in the drywall like a hook or something like that. You can use your awl, and then you can put that anchor in with this. There's just so many uses to this knife, and obviously it gets carried and used a lot. And the best part about it is, because people get kind of, with the scissors, well, they're delicate, they could break, things like that. Victorinox has a lifetime warranty. You can send this back to them. They will fix it for free. And in the interview I watched with the gentleman in charge, that he said they actually lose money offering that service, but they understand that people get connected to the knife they have. It becomes part of their day-to-day, almost like a companion, and therefore they feel obligated to make sure that you're always able to carry that knife. So lifetime warranties on these, which is awesome, especially at the price point, which these are super affordable. You can find them on sale sometimes for as cheap as 45 bucks. Generally, I think they hover around the $65 range, but they do run them on sale quite a bit. It just won't be in this color. It'll be in the standard A-locks pattern here. My only real complaint with this is I do wish that it had the toothpick and tweezers, because these do get use, especially if you're out and about and you don't have anything else. It's nice to have them. And I'm sure there is a plastic scaled version of this that has that, but I would like to see it in the A-locks. I know it's got a rivet here, but I wish they could kind of redesign that to where it would accept those. But that's my only critique with this knife, other than it's kind of hard to carry until I found a couple of ways that are easy to do that. And I'll just go ahead. A lot of people are wondering what this is. This is how I carry it. This is what's referred to as a Japanese fish hook. And this slides on the outside of your jeans, and it lets the knife dangle freely in your pocket, which is a lot better than having this at the very bottom of your pocket. And then say you throw in some keys, which I'll throw some B-roll in here, and then maybe like a flashlight and some other stuff. This works really, really well to keep the knife out of the way. It's in the same spot every single time. And unlike a knife pocket clip like this, for whatever reason, this doesn't hang up on anything. I have not lost it on my seatbelt. I have not lost it on the forklift at work. I have not had this snag on anything. And when you walk by things, a lot of times clips like this will rub and you'll scratch furniture. You'll scratch paint on a vehicle if you're not paying attention and you lean against something. These really are the devil. And it always ends up losing my knife. Again, most of the time, catching on like the forklift seatbelt or something like that. And again, with the damage to other material around you. I hate these clips. I really do. They're nice because it makes it easy to carry said knife or multi-tool, but they're horrible about that. This literally fixes every gripe with that, every time. No snags, easy to get to. The knife orients very well in the pocket, stays out of the way. You don't have a bunch of stuff at the bottom of your pocket now, and it works great. The other option is going to be a pocket organizer of some kind, which is not ideal to me in the hot months. I don't want that much material in my pocket. However, in the winter months, it works really, really well. And if you wear a little baggier jeans or shorts, you don't notice it, but the pocket organizer goes really well with this as well. So yeah, I think I've hit the high points on this. If you are considering getting a Pioneer Plus, the Farmer, any of those in this size range, I highly recommend it if you're willing to carry it with something like this, because this makes it way easier to carry and something that I can leave the house with every single day. Now, is it my favorite knife? No. I much prefer a traditional slip joint, something like this in a trapper pattern. Something in this era or style is going to be my favorite. But if I have this, now I've got to carry this for the scissors. And then again, it's nice to have the little screwdriver as well. I won't ever just carry one of these standalone. I'm always going to have some backup to whatever other knife I have, even your modern knife, even your multi-tool if it doesn't have the scissors. I'm going to carry a backup to it, which is where this comes in handy. This is a literally do-everything knife except maybe self-defense. If you like to camp, this is perfect. You can make repairs to canvas, to leather. You can lash together sticks, drill holes, things like that. You've got, of course, the knife blade, the can opener for when you're opening cans and things out in the woods for day-to-day use. Again, this gets used multiple times a day, every day, no matter what, whether it be at work or just at home. Very simple. I carry this, I use it, I always find uses for it. And if you were just to buy one knife, or you told me I could only have one knife for the rest of my life, I have finally found the perfect pocket knife, and it is the Swiss Army Pioneer Plus. Along with that lifetime warranty and the affordable price tag, it is a win in my book, and I think everybody who is a man should absolutely carry one of these or some type of knife. But this one happens to be the most useful in my opinion. So guys, if you have a differing opinion or any questions, drop them down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Stay free.